welcome to Flashcard Time on this bright and shiny Thursday. I hope you are ready to say these all nice and loud. So, let's get started. A. U. Ooh. I. Y. E. I. E. O. A. O. Ooh. Ooh. One more time. Ooh, 3 sounds. Ed, d, t. One more time. Ed, d, t. I. A. E. Awesome job, people. Let's go. Get started. What's up, awesome people, and welcome to Spelling for this Thursday. We are going to keep up our awesome week of working with suffixes. But before we get more into spelling these tricky little endings, we are going to practice our speed decoding skills. And I have words with us today that have a suffix at the end. These are verbs with either our suffix ing or ed. So we're going to have to practice decoding the base word before we add on reading our suffix. So here we go. Here's our first word. Can you decode the base word? Can you decode the base word? Jump, jump, jump-ing, jump-ing. That means you're doing it right now. When we see an ing word, we're saying the base word and adding our ing sound. Okay, next one. We're keeping the same base word, but we're changing the suffix. So this is jump, but then what sound is ed gonna make? Jump-ed. Is that a word? Jumped, jumped. Oh, what's the last one? Jumped, jumped. I jumped the other day. So this ed says t. Can we all say it? Jumped. Good job. What about this one? Where is our base word? Rip, rip. That's our base verb right here. And look, we added our ing ending. And if we see double letters, they're just going to say one sound. So can you read this? Rip-ing, ripping. I am ripping the paper right now. Okay, what if we change the suffix? Can we read this word? We got the same base word. Rip. And then what sound is ed going to make? In the past tense. Ripped, ripped, or ripped, ripped, ripped. I ripped my paper yesterday. So the ed says the t sound as well. Okay, awesome people, good job warming up those verbs and T, ending. So we are going to continue working on our spelling skills today. But we are going to look at another way that we can add a suffix to the end of a verb. But before we look at that, do you remember? If we're adding ing to a verb, if we're adding ing, that changes the action to be happening right now. If we see ing at the end of a verb, it means the action's happening right now. What about ed? If we add the ed suffix to a verb, it changes the action to happen in the past, that it already took place. So ed changes our actions to long time ago. Okay, awesome people, let's take a look. So when we are adding the suffix ing and ed, the simplest way to do that is just add them. Just tack it on at the end and call it good. There's only two possible times when we can just add the suffix. And those two circumstances are when we see two consonants at the end of a verb next to each other, two consonants, or when we see two vowels at the end of a word, two vowels, which is always a vowel team. So if we see letter pairs, two consonants, two vowels at the end, we know we have the simplest job to just add. Like in the word fish, it becomes fishing, fishing. We didn't need to do anything else to spell this word. We just had to tack the ending on because there were two consonants. Or in the word, what sound does the vowel make? E, so this word is clean. In clean, we have two vowels, a vowel team, so it becomes cleaning, cleaning. All we did was add that suffix because of the vowel team. It followed one of our rules. So this is the simplest way, but only happens in two cases. Another way we can add a suffix is by doubling the consonant. This was another one of the ways we practiced yesterday. We can double the last consonant in the word before we add the ending. And this happens in one specific case, and that is when we see one vowel with one consonant. So towards the end of a word, if we see one vowel followed by just one consonant, then our job when we're adding a suffix is to double the consonant that we see. For example, what's this word? Hop. So it becomes hop-ing, hopping. What's the vowel? O. What's the consonant? P. So we have one and one. Because of this clue, we have to double the P before we can add the ending. That doesn't change how we read the word. It's only specific for when we spell. And what about this example? What's the word? Grab. What's the vowel? A. What's the consonant? B. So because we see one and one, look what happens. We doubled that B before we added the suffix. So this word is grab-ing, grabbing. We read it the exact same way, but we just have two consonants for spelling purposes. So these are the first two ways we have learned about adding a suffix. And we have to learn two more. But today we're going to focus on just the third way, and that is to add a suffix, we need to drop the E, then add. ends in an E, we have to drop that E. That means delete it, take it away, and once we've taken away the E, then we can add the ending. If a vowel ends in E, we can't just tack it on. That E has to go away before we add ing or ed. For example, in the word, what word is this? Look, we have vowel, consonant E. So the word is smile, smile. When we want to add a suffix to the verb smile, look, that E disappeared. It got dropped, and then the ing was added. But the vowels are going to still make the same sound, even though we no longer see vowel consonant E. So smile becomes smiling, smiling. The I still says the I sound, but all we did was add the ing at the end. Or in the word, what is this? We see vowel consonant E. O. Joke, joke. We have an E from vowel consonant E. So before we add our ed ending, we have to take away the vowel. Notice how there's not two E's here. The E is from the ed, not from the base verb. So joke becomes, what sound does ed make? Joked? Joked? Joked. Joked. Joked is right. I checked that because I recognized the word joked. So this is the spelling way that we are going to practice today of adding ing and ed. If a verb ends with E, it has to be dropped before we can add that suffix. So before we start practicing with our Super Kids Reader, I want us to stand up, 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 so we can have our this or that break for spelling. So, are you out of your seats? My question for you is, would you rather play with Legos? If so, you're going to touch the ceiling. Or would you rather play with Play-Doh? If so, you're going to touch the floor. Take your pick. Legos or Play-Doh? What would you choose? I would choose Play-Doh because I love that it's stretchy. So I'm going to touch the floor 5 times. Everybody ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was it. Got a little mini workout. So come on, sit right back down. And you know that we are going to pull out our Super Kids workbook. Dun-dun-dun. You are going to be working with page 42 today. Page 42. It looks a lot like our page yesterday. Page 42. So on this page, Super Scholars, we are going to practice adding our 2 suffix to the ends of verbs that end with E. So let's take a first look. What is our base verb? Look, I see vowel consonant E. Remember, the silent E makes the vowel say its long sound. So what sound will the I make? I, so the word is bike, bike. And if we notice, it ends with an E. So if we're trying to add a suffix, I want you to cross out that E to remind yourself that we're not going to use it when we're changing this verb. So Super Scholars, can you write bike as a present action and a past action? I want us to do it all together. Here we go. I'm writing bike without the E. Okay. A's you have both written in your wonderful handwriting. So let's practice decoding these words. If we had bike, the present action is biking, biking. And then past, it's biked, biked, biked. I biked last night. Good job. Remember, one of the strategies we can use is trying out all the sounds until we hear one that we know is correct. Okay, let's look at our next verb. Ooh, this one's a little bigger. Can you practice decoding? What verb do we have here? Look, we have L-E at the end. Snuggle. Snuggle. Snuggle, when you can get all nice and cozy in your bed. But do you see an E at the end of this verb? So what's going to happen to the E? What do we need to do with it before we add anything? It needs to be dropped. It needs to go away before we can add an ending. So can we take snuggle and write it out as a present verb or a past verb? Okay, everyone's going to write it out. Here we go. Okay, I'm making sure I drop the E. Okay, what about in the past tense? I only have one E that's from the ED. Okay, awesome people. So, this is a little bit longer word, but we can still use our knowledge of our base word to read these different actions. So if we have snuggle, the present tense is add-ing. Snuggling, snuggling. Good job. Okay, what about our tricky ED? We're thinking about I snuggle, but I did it yesterday, last night. What would I say? Snuggled, 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 d. What sound is that ED making? D. Good job. Okay, last one we're gonna do together. What word is this right here? Ooh, I see. Vowel consonant E. So the A is going to make what sound? A. It's going to say its long sound, its name. So the base word is bake. Bake. And what do we have to do to add a suffix to this word? We have to drop the E. There's an E at the end and it has to be dropped before we can keep on spelling. So, now that we've dropped the E, can you make bake as a present verb and bake as a past verb? Here we go. Everyone write it together. I'm making sure I drop the E every time. There we go. Okay, using our knowledge that in our base word, we had vowel consonant E, so our word was bake. Can we read it as a present verb? Baking, baking. Good job. Okay, last one. In the past tense, bake, but we did it yesterday. You figure it out? I baked last night. Baked. What sound was ED making? Baked. Good job, people. Okay, second grade. So we have practiced dropping that E before we can add a suffix. So now, of course, you are going to keep on practicing this super important spelling skill by completing page 42. There's a couple more words you have to change, but you're going to complete page 42. When you are done completing page 42 in your best handwriting, then you're going to take that video of yourself reading all these words just like you did yesterday. If you're having trouble, really make sure you decode the base word first before you try adding an ending. Really make sure you look for vowel consonant E or our LE patterns and decode this base word before you move on. You can't read these words unless you can accurately read the base verb. So really focus on these before you keep reading. But everyone's going to finish page 42 and then take a video of themselves practicing to read words accurately on their own. So awesome, people. We are going to continue our work with ing and ed next.